Hello, I'm Brian Fox. Welcome to I Hate Rock Music. This is another video in my series of great rock bands from Seattle that you probably never heard of. And this is a band that was around for 2 years, but they don't have much left for us to examine other than a lot of good memories. I got to see them live a bunch of times, and they were just insane live. The level of musicianship in the band was incredible, and they were called Apes of Wrath, and it was Brad Moen, a known figure in the Seattle thrash punk metal scene, and he used a lot of different effects on his vocals. And actually, it was hilarious because he set up an ironing board in front of him and would use the pedals on an ironing board. But his vocals were always pretty treated. And then the amazing Seattle legend drummer Mike Peterson used to be in Mommy and is currently in a band called No Restep, and one of the greatest drummers in Seattle by far. And so Mike Peterson on drums, Brad Moen on vocals, Baldo on bass, and Mr. Neutron on guitar, the astonishing, enigmatic guitar player here in Seattle. He moved out here from Ohio, and I actually hooked up with him, and he auditioned for a band I was in, and we ended up getting together with Sad Happy and forming a band called Harry Eyeball, which was a far distance from what he ended up doing with Apes of Wrath, and more sort of like classic rock. But he and I also had another band about 1997 called Pygmy Tyrant, and I'll probably post videos about those two bands of mine at some point. But Mr. Neutron is one of the most amazing guitar players I've ever heard. And by the time he formed Apes of Wrath, he was definitely heavily influenced by the Zorn thing. He really loved Naked City and Melt Banana, and they were just an astonishing hybrid of punk metal and avant-garde, and just incredible to see live. And a lot of their tunes were pretty short, so they went by pretty fast. Their first CD has a ton of tunes on it, but it's only 20 minutes long. But if you're into Melt Banana, you definitely got to hear Apes of Wrath. Just incredible band. Anybody that saw them live was either horrified or completely awed, or both. I know I saw them and I was horrified and awed. Definitely a unique band. There's certainly that Melt Banana influence to them, and but they definitely had their own thing. Brad Moen did some incredible things on vocals, and just the sheer firepower of the band was astonishing. But they put out one CD called Apes of Wrath, and I'll post that below. They have two other ones. One of them is called Alien Bible. I forget what the other one's called, but they're nearly impossible to find. The first one was issued on CD and is a very limited edition. And then the other two albums are just online somewhere. I used to have a link, but I don't anymore. But interesting progression for the band. They got weirder as they went along. And they had a really interesting methodology too. They were also much incredible musicians. They basically get together and jam and record it, and then Mr. Neutron would go back in the studio and he would edit it and create the songs as they were, and then they would have to relearn the songs that he constructed out of their jams. So a really amazing methodology, but it really paid off because they came up with stuff that would be unimaginable in any other circumstances, and the music they came up with was just incredible. And so the methodology worked. Mr. Neutron sadly is living in Austin now and doesn't do that much music. He's a painter now, and a lost to the world, totally world-class guitar player. And the stuff he did with Apes of Wrath is unbelievable. So sadly, I only have the one link to put below with Apes of Wrath, but it's well worth it just to hear that one CD. Again, if you're into John Zorn, you're into punk metal, avant-garde, you're into Melt Banana, then Apes of Wrath is mandatory listening. I'm Brian Fox. Thanks for watching I Hate Rock Music.